Hi guys, welcome back to Surviving Infidelity. Today's story is titled, My Ex Dumped Me Because I Was a Softie. Now she wants me back. Before we get into the video guys, want to remind you of the Patreon link down in the description. If you want to see more videos that are uncensored, head over there, check it out if you'd like, and let's get straight into the video. I, 27 male, have been previously in a toxic relationship with my ex-girlfriend, who we will call R. R and I had nothing in common, which to this day makes me question why we even dated in the first place. We started dating after we'd been hanging out with the same friend group when we were both 20. She was the one who asked me out first, which I agreed since I liked her a bit. We started dating for 4 months, then made it official that we were boyfriend and girlfriend. After a year, she started getting annoyed with everything I do. She would go crazy if she saw me baking or knitting. I love doing this stuff because my mother taught me those things since I was a child. I don't know why you would get annoyed at someone just doing something they enjoy. It's crazy to me. I was the shy type who didn't like talking a lot or doing what other boys do these days. I can describe myself as a calm person, but she didn't like that. She hated who I was. She would constantly scream at me to be a man and stop acting like a woman. To be honest, it hurt a lot, especially when my self-esteem was already low. What's up with this? You have to be a man, you have to be a woman. I don't know why knitting and baking has to be it's a women's thing to do. Like, it can be, anyone can do it and enjoy it. Day after day, it started getting worse. When her birthday came, I baked a cake, especially for her, since I knew she loved cheesecake. Guess what she did? She was livid and screamed at the top of her lungs about how I was a meow. I don't know what other word I can say because I'm pretty sure I can't say it on YouTube. She said that he was a cat, the other word for cat, and threw the cake I made. Oh. She went to her friend's house at night while I cried myself to sleep. Oh. This is... Why are people like this? The last straw came when I adopted my cat, Nina. She was a small kitten when I adopted her. I loved her the moment I laid eyes on her, so I decided to take her home with me. When R saw her, she almost lost her mind and started screeching about how disgusting it was to have a cat. She tried to take Nina, but I pushed her away and finally snapped. Even if you're the quiet boy or quiet girl, just quiet person, eventually everyone will snap if you just keep pushing and pushing. I told her I had enough of her and I wouldn't let her bring me down anymore. I wouldn't change who I was for someone who doesn't even appreciate me. It was a huge argument and I told her to get the hell out of my apartment because it's over, and I wouldn't let anyone disrespect me this way again. She started packing her things while telling me that she doesn't need me and will find herself a real man. It was his apartment obviously too, like, isn't that the man's job too? Having the apartment, paying for the apartment, obviously he was. 2 years passed and I met my now wife. Oh, this is good to hear. She was the complete opposite of our adorable, calm, sweet, loving, a literal angel. I love that, to hear that he found someone to love him and he loves her just as much. I met her because I constantly saw her whenever I brought Nina to the vet. It turned out she was there because her father worked as a vet. She came to visit him and play with other pets. That sounds like a story, like a romance story or something, that the way they met. It's cute. It was so adorable and I felt myself developing feelings for her. We started talking and I discovered that we share the same interest. Like we were made for each other. We talked more and more and I built up the courage to ask her out. The date was perfect. We talked and laughed, lay down chatting all night. Oh, that's so cute. I told her about my story with my ex, which she comforted me and told me that she doesn't know what she lost. That I was a wonderful and sweet man that lacks nothing. That would have been so nice to hear. In being in a toxic relationship, you believe what that person thinks. Like, even if you deep down don't think that way, you soon become believing that because that's all you hear. I started tearing up and she hugged me. She was so sweet to me and loved playing with Nina. Every time I looked at her, I thought to myself, yes, this is the woman I want to marry. After a few dates, we became official and I couldn't be happier. We got married and I felt like I was on cloud 9. Fast forward last year. I get a knock on my door, which to my surprise, it was R. My ex who made me miserable. I tried closing the door, but she held it, saying she came here to apologize. I told her whatever it is, it's forgiven and forgotten, and she said it was a different thing. She just thought she could waltz up in here and take him back. Turns out one of my friends gave her my address. Don't worry, I already cut that friend off. Good. R started apologizing, and I could see the color drain from her face when she saw my wedding ring on my finger. This makes me feel so good. Suddenly, she broke down and said how much she missed me. She wanted us to be back together, which disgusted me. She continued crying about how her past relationships were toxic and her ex treated her like garbage while I treated her like a queen. But you treated him like garbage, so you don't see what you have until it's gone, basically. I told her F no. I wouldn't leave the woman who loved me for who I am and made me happy for someone who never gave a beep about my feelings. I told her to get effed or I'll get a restraining order, then close the door. I love this. He's sticking up for himself, which is so good. That day, I told my wife everything. She was so happy for me that I stood up for myself and told my ex how much pain she caused me. This was last year. Now we have a beautiful daughter together. I'm glad I met such a sweet woman who made me happy and started a family with me. But I'm mostly happy that in the end, I knew my worth. That's so good. That was a nice story. It was actually a better story than most. It's good to see a happy ending every now and then and a lighter story, because a lot of the other stories we read on this channel is quite like sad, and not quite, it is sad actually, sorry. And I don't know, it's just nice to have something like this to read. See that this man knew his worth and stood up for himself and found someone who actually loves him for who he is and made him really happy. It's really great. Anyways, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget about the Patreon link down in the description. Let me know what you thought about this story. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you in another video, guys. Bye!